Hello again and welcome to our February 2026 edition of Quick Kit. BSC was earlier this month, which means a lot has come out. Thank you to everyone who swung by and said hello to us on our stand. It was awesome meeting so many of you. Anyway, links to everything we mentioned will be down in the description below, but before we get into the video, I just want to thank our sponsor, us. Did you know that you can buy most of the kit you see in this video and loads of other cine, video and photo equipment on our website? We sell and ship globally, so if you've been eyeing up a new bit of kit, please use the links in the description as it really helps us keep doing these videos. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. Right, let's get into it. Zeiss have been pretty busy, as this month they've had some really awesome announcements. This includes two new series of cine lenses, the Aatma and Panoptes 65. The Aatma is a set of 9 full-frame cinema primes ranging from 18 all the way through to 135, all of which are T1.5. They have been designed to combine Zeiss's recent and vintage lens aesthetics into a modern set of cine lenses. Speaking with Zeiss, they have tuned these lenses to lean more towards the super speed look than Supremes, and this means they have focused on skin tone rendering, emphasized field curvature, which is really abnormal for Zeiss lenses, and tweaked the bokeh to look more bubbly and defined. They are based around distagon, planar, and sonar lens designs that Zeiss have been using for a long time. But these lenses have tweaked element placement, design, and spacing to give them a unique look that is different to Supremes. We got the chance to get some hands-on time with a few of them earlier this week, and they look really nice. Putting them onto the projector first, it's immediately apparent just how different they are than Supremes. We can see a glow around our projected image that goes when you stop down to T2. This is also something that super speeds do as well, and the Supremes don't. On camera, this glow helps smooth details out. The lenses still resolve well, but skin especially is handled very differently. They are typically Zeiss in design, so have matching front diameters, unified gear positions for your focus and iris, and lovely build quality and mechanics. They also have XD metadata support, which means they will work nicely with VFX and virtual production workflows. They are aimed at the higher end of the cinema market, as they are priced at roughly €18,000 per lens for the initial 5 focal lengths. This means there will most likely be a rental set of lenses. Do you like the look of them? Let us know in the comments. At the same time, Zeiss also announced a new series which are designed for 65mm formats, the Panoptes 65. These are inspired by Zeiss's Supremes, but each lens has been designed specifically for covering 65mm format cameras like the Alexa 265 and Ursa Cine 17K. There will be 10 focal lengths in the set, all of which will have a maximum aperture of T2.2. That's all the info we have at the moment, but more should become available soon. Zeiss also announced a 35mm f1.4 for their Otus ML series of lenses. This now means the set consists of a 35, 50 and 85mm, all of which are f1.4. We still use the original Zeiss Otus lenses as our primary set of lenses for our video production, so this is an exciting announcement for us. The previous Otus set didn't have a 35mm, and it's great seeing Zeiss add this to this line of lenses. 35mm is such a versatile focal length, and I can't wait to see how this lens performs. The fantastic Ted from the Art of Photography YouTube channel looked at it in a recent video of his, and it looks like an excellent lens. Like the 50 and the 85mm, it will be available in Sony E, Nikon Z and Canon RF mount, and it's priced at £2,025 including VAT. We've literally just received full production units of the 50 and 85mm into test to potentially replace our original Otus lenses with, so let us know if you want us to do a video on these in the comments below. Panasonic have announced a new on-camera microphone, the Lumix DMW DMS1. This currently works with a range of their Lumix S-series cameras, with planned support for the GH7 and G9 II coming out in the future. This makes a lot of sense for Panasonic to do, as other camera brands have also created their own on-camera mics for their systems. This new mic has been designed to pass audio through digitally to the camera via the hot shoe, so you don't need any cables running into the camera. It supports 32-bit float 96kHz audio recording, but only with the S1 II, S1 IIe and S1 R2 currently. This is great, as 32-bit float is such a helpful feature for run and gun shooters wanting a little bit extra peace of mind when recording audio on location. It also has a backup recording mode as well. It's a stereo microphone that can have its pickup pattern change between 6 different modes on the back of the mic. The mic capsule is the little disc on the top, which is suspended on a shock mount on top of the unit. This will be good for general audio capture for stuff like live events, weddings, or really anything where you want to capture ambient audio. It's priced at £349 or €399 or dollars. This is a good bit more expensive than the Nikon and Sony equivalent for their systems, but this does look like a good solution. Leitz have made G mounts for their Hector series of cinema lenses. This is so you can get them onto the Fujifilm Aatma and GFX cameras, which is an interesting choice. Leitz have been kind enough to send us a set of Hectors and G mounts for us to test. Swapping out the mounts was relatively easy for one of our engineers, and the back of the lens looks very different with these massive mounts on now compared to the E-mounts that were on them before. We put these quickly through our coverage tool to see how well they cover the full Aatma sensor, as they are clearly designed more so for full frame use. We shot the lenses wide open and at t4 at both close focus and infinity. Here's our report from each lens. Overall though, we can see some hard vignetting when using them in the Aatma's open gate mode, especially towards infinity. If you're planning on using them more towards the close focus end, they can work though. Whether you think these will work for you will depend on the look you want and what kind of vignetting you find acceptable. This is obviously just one side of the coverage story though, as you are seeing past their rated 47.8mm image circle, you could of course see wacky lens character. I've zoomed in on these creative test shots to get rid of the hard vignette, but kept some light fall off. The Leitz Hectors are a beautiful set of lenses, which we looked at in depth back in September last year. So if you want to see more of these gorgeous lenses, check that video out. And if you want to have a look at them for yourself, drop demo@cvp.com and email to book a demo in one of our UK or European showrooms. Lomography has announced 2 new focal lengths in their Petzval style of lenses. This means the set now consists of a 27mm f1.7, 35mm f2, 55mm f1.7, 80.5 f1.9 and 135mm f2.5. These blew up in popularity recently thanks to some beautiful postcards produced by Daniel Broadley during Oasis's tour last year, where he used them amongst other vintage lenses to create some lovely images. These lenses allow you to control the Petzval effect on the lens and allow for drop-in aperture plates to be used to really control how crazy your out of focus areas can look. These lenses are surprisingly quite well designed for video and cine use. The focus, bokeh control and aperture ring all have gears. They have a 180-degree focus throw, lens support thread, and they are available in E, Z and RF mount. Having a 5-lens set now for these is awesome, and given how unique the look is you can get from them, and the looks of the mechanics, they are incredibly well priced at just under £1,600 for the 5-lens kit, or just under £400 a lens if bought separately. Hopefully we get a set into test checkout soon. Do these interest you? Let us know in the comments. Red have released beta firmware 2.2 for their V-Raptor series of cameras, and it's added and fixed a bunch of things. This includes a faster boot up speed, reduced power consumption, a new ND iris tracking mode for depth of field pulls, improved high ISO ProRes performance, and even a tweak to Phantom Track that we asked Red to implement, which should make the Raptor X even better for virtual production. We'll be doing a bigger video around this as there's some awesome changes here. If you want to check out the firmware now, it's available to download on Red's website. Red have also started running a new trade-in campaign. This is for the V-Raptor X or XLX and even their latest V-Raptor XC. The amount you can get depends on what camera you trade in and what camera you're aiming to buy. If you want to learn more, don't hesitate to get in contact with us. Blazar have announced 2 new series of anamorphic lenses, the Talon and Vipers. These 2 new series seem to share the same optical designs, but the Talon is in a typical mirrorless lens housing and offers autofocus, whereas the Vipers are designed for more traditional cinema cameras, as they are fully manual and use a PL mount. At release, both sets will have a 35, 50 and 85mm, all of which are T2.1. There isn't much online about them yet, but they do seem to tick a lot of boxes. They have a 1.5 times squeeze, but have 1.8 times looking bokeh, which will probably be because of a shaped iris like their Mantis lenses. They look to have barrel distortion, have a bit more character than the Mantis, and a neutral and new looking flare. They also look really light and compact, which will make them great for smaller cameras and hopefully the Ronin 4D. The Talon are priced at £976 including VAT, and we don't have pricing for the Vipers just yet, but I'm sure they're going to be really well priced, just as the Remus and Mantis are. IronGlass have announced their latest set of cinema lenses, the Air. These are aimed at mirrorless mount camera users wanting legendary vintage optics in a compact, light and robust cinema style package. There are 6 lenses in the set, but will be available singularly as well as both a 3 and 6 lens kit. They have been designed for use with mirrorless mount cameras, so come Sony E-mount as standard with the ability to swap the mount yourself to RF, L, Z, G and M. They balance and work on the Ronin 4D really well and also work great handheld on smaller cameras thanks to their short 180-degree focus throw. To pre-order and 100% accurate pricing, please head over to our website. We recently reviewed them, which you can check out via the link below. Earlier this month, Blackmagic put out a recall notice on a number of their Pyxis 12K cameras. This includes every camera that has a serial number less than the one I'm showing on screen now. So if you have a Pyxis 12K that falls into that, you can send your camera back to Blackmagic to have a complete sensor board replacement. This is a redesigned board to combat an issue that only a small percent of cameras have suffered with. We tested a very early Pyxis 12K, so should we retest it? Let us know in the comments. Blackmagic are offering this repair for the next 3 years, so you can have your camera updated whenever is best for you. If you want to learn more, I've put a link to the Blackmagic support page below. Sony has released firmware version 5 for the A7s III. It's great to see Sony still supporting the A7s III even when it was released nearly 6 years ago now. It's good stuff and available to download now on Sony's website. Nikon have released their latest Z series lens, the 70-200mm f2.8 VRS2. This is a follow-up to the Mark I of this lens, which was released back in 2020, and it has several improvements over this old one. First off, it's 362 grams lighter at just 998 grams, which makes it one of the lightest full-frame 70-200 f2.8s in its class. It's also a little shorter and features a new optical design which uses less overall elements. This has helped keep the weight down and also reduce the amount of shift in weight as you zoom. It also features Nikon's new VCM motors they used in the 24-70 282, which should mean a big step up in autofocus performance for both stills and video, and quieter autofocus as well. It also has improved close focus of 38cm at the wide and 80cm at the tele end, and it is internal focusing and zooming. It has a control ring on the lens that can be clicked or declicked via a switch, which will be good for controlling aperture. It uses Nikon's latest coatings, has an 11 blade aperture, and Nikon have designed it with video in mind, so optical performance should be slightly tuned for that. It's available to pre-order now for £2,990 including VAT. At BSC 2026, Tilta had a closer to production nucleus autofocus adapter on show. It looks like a really nicely designed product. You can control the adapter through the mount itself, and even calibrate lenses there, which is nice. We can't talk about it too much yet, but it's very exciting and I can't wait to test it more and show you how it performs. Talking about autofocus adapters, PDMovie has teased the Smart Fusion. This looks like an E to E mount adapter that will translate the focus systems on Sony cameras, but use PDMovie's Live Air 4 Smart motor to drive manual focus lenses. You can also switch between the built-in LiDAR in the motor or the camera focusing system, which does sound pretty cool. It's also a wireless solution, which is interesting. I wonder how this translates to latency and reliability. I also wonder how they are dealing with back focus, as adding any distance on E-mount lenses is going to affect that. It's priced at just $199 and looks really interesting. Hopefully it performs well. It's definitely something we've got our eye on. If you want to keep up with the latest and greatest kit, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you want to buy anything you see in this video, or any other kit for that matter, head over to cvp.com where our experienced team is waiting to help you. ZILR have released the Zipper, an e-powered collapsible transport trolley for production use. This cart uses an electric motor to power and drive this little cart. This is a really smart little thing to see marketed towards creative productions. It has 3 different modes, including the ability to even add a little seat and ride it around. It also folds down pretty compactly, so it won't take up too much space when travelling to set. It will be available as either a 2-wheel drive or 4-wheel drive version. The 2-wheel drive has been designed for long ranges, whereas the 4-wheel drive is designed for more off-road environments but has less range, but a more powerful motor. They can handle some serious payloads as well. They're going to be priced at around the $2,000 mark for the 4-wheel drive and $1,500 for the 2-wheel drive. Honestly, I'm surprised no one's done this before. It's a clever little idea and something we have in our central London showroom. Canon has announced 2 new lenses, the RF 7-14mm f2.8 to 3.5 and the 14mm f1.4 VCM prime. The 7-14mm looks like a really interesting lens. It can be used to capture a 190-degree circular image or 180-degree full-frame fisheye image when you zoom into 14mm. It also has a drop-in filter tray at the back, which is the same system that Canon use on their RF adapters. This means you'll be able to use any ND or other filter here. I really wish that Canon's other RF lenses had this, it would be so useful. This lens is going to be really interesting for photographers and videographers wanting Canon's modern autofocus performance and design, but the unique perspective that comes with a wide-angle zoom like it. The 14mm f1.4 brings the VCM range to 6 lenses now, and they are all surprisingly the same size and form factor. This new 14mm is now the widest in the set and still boasts an f1.4 aperture, which is impressive given its size and weight, especially when compared to other fast 14mm lenses. This combination of speed, size, and ultra-wide angle will make it a very interesting lens for some very specific photographers and filmmakers. The 7-14mm is going to be priced at £1,719, and the 14mm VCM is priced at £2,399, and they are both available to pre-order now. Atomos have announced another new monitor recorder, the Ninja Raw. This is essentially bringing their Ninja HDR in line with the TX and TX Go. Compared to the HDR, it has loads of improvements that the TX and TX Go have gotten. It uses a 5-inch 1500 nit touchscreen, can record in a mix of different formats including ProRes, ProRes RAW, and H.265, 2 CF Express Type B cards, or via USB-C to an external SSD. This is so much better than the SATA drives that the Ninja HDR and previous Ninjas have used. It's HDMI only and can be powered in a range of ways. It has a typical range of monitoring tools that you'd expect from an Atomos monitor now, such as EL Zone. It's available to pre-order now and is priced at roughly £719, which is actually about the same price as the TX Go here in the UK. So if you're looking at the Ninja Raw, I would suggest just grabbing the TX Go, as it shares a lot with the Raw but has the additional connectivity features for the same price, though this may differ in your region. UK-based TLS have announced the Vega 65 set of cinema primes. This is a 9-lens set of 65mm coverage lenses based around the image characteristics found in their previous Vega primes. They have a maximum aperture of t1.9 across the middle 7 focal lengths, and it's only the 24mm and 165mm that are slightly slower at t2.5 and t2.7. t1.9 for a 65mm coverage prime is pretty decent, and will make for some super shallow depth of field imagery when shot wide open. The example imagery that TLS have in their release video looks really nice. It looks sharp but balanced nicely with some character. They all have good close focus performance too, which I think is crucial for today's production demands for cinema lenses. Mechanically, they will be as excellently put together as other TLS lenses are. They have consistent 110mm front diameters, similar weights and lengths, and uniform gear placement across the set. Existing Vega full frame sets can be upgraded via a kit, and Vega 65s can also be swapped back to full frame, making them really versatile for rental houses and owner-operators. We now sell TLS, so if you're interested in these or any other lens that they offer, drop us an email via demo@cvp.com. Tamron have announced their latest mirrorless mount lens, the 35-100mm f2.8 Di3 VXD. This lens will be available in both Sony E and Nikon Z mount, and it's been designed to balance good performance with a reasonable size and weight. 35-100mm is an interesting range, but it certainly won't be quite as versatile as Tamron's 35-150mm, though that lens is much bigger and more expensive. This new lens is priced at £799 including VAT, and it's available to pre-order now. What do you think of this type of range? Would you prefer having a wider angle zoom or tighter tele end? Let us know down below. Teradek have announced the RFX. This is an automatic video switcher that can take up to 6 wireless feeds from a range of Teradek systems, which it then evaluates and feeds out a single feed, switching between the different sources seamlessly to make sure the feed is rock solid, even in difficult RF congested environments. This could be a good solution for broadcasts such as sports or music, cine sets with challenging camera movements, or motorsports where a TX could be on a car traveling around the track, connected to multiple receivers. It's an interesting solution and is available to pre-order now. Sigma have announced a few new lenses and have confirmed that their Cine AF version, the 28-105mm, is now available. The 28-105mm T3 Cine AF takes the excellent 28-105mm photo lens but houses it inside the Cine AF housing that they first released with their 28-45mm T2. This is now available to pre-order for £2,799 including VAT. They also announced a 15mm f1.4 DC Contemporary for crop sensor cameras and a 35mm f1.4 DG2 Art for Sony E and L-mount full-frame cameras. These have been designed to not compromise on optical quality, but reduced size and weight compared to their previous options. Right, let's get into our quick fire honourable mentions. Links to details about these are in the description. Axiom released the CineView SE 4K wireless video system. Aperture released a bunch of firmware updates for a range of their lighting fixtures. Arri released SUP 4 for the Trinity. Blackmagic announced a streaming encoder HD. GeckoCam had some interesting lenses on their standard BSC. This included the Iana, which they announced a while back, and some unreleased 65mm coverage T1.1 primes, which looked insane on the Alexa 65 they had on their stand. Leica released the Noctilux M 35mm f1.2. Magmod announced the Mag Stand, which looks like a really nice premium lighting stand. Nanlite announced both the FC720B and 720C to their line of fixtures. Nanlux released the motorized Yoke L for their 2400B and 5000B fixtures. OM System released the OM3 Astro mirrorless camera. Perfworks announced the Cart Control, a long-range wireless camera control box. Rode have announced that their Wireless Go and Wireless Pro can now both be connected directly to iPhones without the need of a receiver. Smorig have released a couple of new products. Sony's Venice 2 extension system is finally shipping and available to demo in our UK and European showrooms. Tilta released their cages and rigging for the Sony A7 III. And lastly, Voigtlander announced the Septon 40mm f2 for E and Z mount, and an RF mount version of their Heliar 75mm f1.8. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you subscribe ready for next month's quick kit, and let us know what kit you've picked up this month in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching.